Let's picture this. A classroom high up in the mountains of Nepal. It's a place where the incredible promise of modern technology is meeting the harsh reality of limited resources. Today we're diving into a really personal study that uncovers the surprising truth about what it really takes to bring digital learning to one of the most remote places on the planet.
So where did this all start? Well, it began with a pretty simple request. A researcher named Damer Singh Saud was asked to train his university colleagues on how to use Microsoft Teams during the pandemic. And right away, he noticed something that just stood out. While the teachers had almost no experience with the software, their desire to learn was absolutely off the charts. And that incredible contrast, that gap between ambition and ability, is what sparked his entire study.
And we're not talking about Silicon Valley here. This whole study is set in Sudur Pashchim province, which is a remote, mountainous part of Nepal. It's a place where resources are tight and even basic infrastructure can be a daily struggle. And honestly, it's this incredibly challenging environment that makes the story of bringing digital tools to the classroom so powerful and so important. So, into this really tough situation comes this big promise of what we call ICT, or Information and Communication Technology. Now, the shift to digital was kind of already happening, but the COVID-19 pandemic just slammed on the accelerator, forcing educators everywhere to adopt these new tools, whether they were ready for them or not.
The potential of these new tools seemed absolutely limitless. Teachers were dreaming of a future where they could make their lessons richer, get students more engaged, and open up a whole world of information. They really saw technology as this key to reaching all kinds of different learners, and even helping their students think more critically. A total revolution for their classrooms.
But for all of that amazing promise, the day-to-day reality, well, that was a very different story. The dream of a digital classroom quickly slammed right into a wall of frustrating real-world obstacles. And the gap between what they hoped for and what they got was just huge. Teachers expected to have endless online resources at their fingertips, but what they got was spotty internet and broken equipment. They wanted to create these engaging multimedia lessons, but instead they found themselves fighting to keep students from getting distracted. They wanted efficient new tools, but they just didn't have the training or the time to learn them. So where do you even go from here? Right? With all this potential on one side and all these roadblocks on the other, what's the solution? It's so tempting to just blame the technology or the tough circumstances. But this study points to a totally different answer, one that isn't about the tools at all, but about the people who are trying to use them.
See, this was never really a technology problem. It's a human one. The research makes it pretty clear that the solution isn't just more gadgets or faster internet. It's about empowering teachers, giving them the right skills, and the confidence they need to actually succeed.
And this is where this really key idea of digital competence comes in. It's so much more than just knowing which buttons to press. Think of it as this blend of knowledge, hands-on skills, and, frankly, the right attitude to use technology in a way that truly, meaningfully improves teaching and learning. The focus moves from the hardware to the human. Okay, so what does this digital competence actually look like in the real world? The study uses this framework called DigCompEdu to break it all down. The best way to think about it is like a roadmap for success, mapping out all the essential skills that modern teachers need to really navigate this digital world. We can pretty much boil this whole framework down into a three-step journey. First up, teachers have to master the tools, learning how to communicate and manage digital resources like a pro. Second, they take those skills and use them to completely transform their classrooms with new ways of teaching and assessing. And the final step? Well, that's all about empowering the students themselves to become digitally savvy citizens in their own right. So, with a much clearer picture of the challenges and a framework for what success looks like, the study doesn't just stop there and diagnose the problem. It actually gives us a roadmap for how to solve it.
The recommendations here are really clear and practical. Yeah, it starts with investing in better infrastructure and tech support, that's a given. But that's just the beginning. The real key is giving teachers targeted training that actually addresses their specific needs. From there, it's about making sure students use tech responsibly, creating a culture where teachers can share what they've learned, and making sure there's strong support from the very top.
In this global race to build smarter classrooms, this study from the mountains of Nepal is such a powerful reminder. At the end of the day, technology is just a tool. The real transformation, the real magic, happens when we invest in our teachers. So the question we're left with is, are we willing to make that investment?